A Boy and His Blob is one of those games, kind of like Myst or Darkcaster, where the difficulty and cryptic nature of the game actually contributes to the length more than the level progression does. Once you know where everything is and what you have to do, you can pretty much beat the game in under 10 minutes. It also possesses some game-breaking bugs that can essentially cut that time in half. But after asking around on some forums and the corporate think tank of gamers I keep chained up in my basement, I've discovered that this game has haunted the childhood of a lot of retro NES players. So today we're playing A Boy and His Blob. Until we win. A Boy and His Blob, Trouble on Blobolonia, was co-designed by David Crane, the game designer that gave us the iconic Pitfall for the Atari 2600. And like that time sinkhole, A Boy and His Blob revolves around exploration, finding treasure, and death traps. Lots and lots of death traps. In a way, it almost plays like a side-scrolling version of the original Legend of Zelda, where it was up to you to explore the map and find out in what order you were supposed to do things and what tools you were supposed to use to get past obstacles. In this case, your puzzle-solving toolset comes in the form of Blobbert, an alien blob creature that follows you around and turns into different things when you feed him jelly beans. These jelly beans all follow a mnemonic device which lets you remember what they do, usually in the form of a rhyme or groan-worthy pun. You'll want to take the time to experiment and find out what all these jelly beans do, or if you're lazy like me, stay tuned and I'll go through all of them right now. Licorice, ladder, strawberry, bridge, coconut, coconut, cola, bubble, cinnamon, blowtorch, apple, jack, vanilla, umbrella, tangerine, trampoline, root beer, rocket, honey, hummingbird, ketchup, catch up, punch, hole, orange, Vita Blaster, lime, key. For the most part, of the 12 jelly beans you start with, you'll only be using about 4 of them. The punch jelly beans to create holes, licorice jelly beans for making ladders, the vanilla jelly beans for the umbrella which lets you fall down any height without dying, and the strawberry jelly beans for bridges. First, I'm going to tell you how to beat the game the way the developers intended, and then I'll show you how to beat it the fast way to show off to all your friends. The game is split into 2 sections, the caverns and Blobolonia. And in fact, there's only one item that is required to beat the game. Unfortunately, that item is located in the complete opposite direction you're intended to travel. To start off, go into the subway by holding down near the stairs. Believe it or not, some people actually do get stuck here. And feed Blobbert a punch jelly bean to create a hole in the floor. Collect the treasure on the left and use another punch jelly bean underneath the Absolute Avenue sign to get into the caverns. Continue to the right using the cinnamon blowtorch to get through the spider web, and then switch to the cola bubble or umbrella to get past the falling rocks. Continue your way down. Once you reach the lake, you will need to use the cola bubble to keep from drowning, but you can't enter from the right. Instead, go to the center of the map and drop down from this area. You have to be really careful down here, especially when trying for the treasure chest in the middle of the stalagmites. Pay close attention to the shiny pixels on top of the sprites. These are the points you have to avoid if you're going to get through without dying. There's a lot of money down here, but unless you're going for 100% completion, you really don't need the one that's beneath the stalagmites. It's just not worth the risk. Once you've collected the treasures underwater, continue up and to the left to reach dry land and drop a licorice ladder to climb up, watching out for the caterpillar. You can pick up some optional jelly beans by using the trampoline to go up and to the left, and then continue to the right to the place where you fell into the lake. Use the trampoline here, and then use the hole to get back to the center. When using the tangerine trampoline, you can hold up and down on the D-pad to set the height to which you will jump. It's actually somewhat absurd how high you can jump, but you won't die as long as you land on the trampoline. Here, position the trampoline in the center of the screen and jump up 6 screens and continue to the left. By using the hole and standing under it when you whistle, you can use it multiple times and collect the 4 treasure chests here, and then continue to the left using the bridge. Work your way up from here to get back to the subways. Collect the last treasure, which contains the lime and orange jelly beans. Once you have these, position Blob underneath the manhole cover and use the jack and ladder to get back to the street. Go all the way to the right until you get to the health food store, and instead of using the millions of dollars you found underneath the city to buy your parents a house or donate it to charity, spend it all on hundreds of pellets of vitamins. Once you've done this, you'll be ready to take on the second part of the game. Use the root beer rocket to travel to Blobalonia. Here you'll want to keep your Vita Blaster ready at all times, ready to shoot the bouncing marshmallows and especially the cherry bombs before they hit the ground and explode, killing you. This section is probably the hardest in the entire game, since if you let any of the cherry bombs touch the ground, even if they're on another screen, it means instant death. Even if you played through the whole game just to get to this point, it's possible for the cherry bombs to kill you in just a few tries. Which means, guess what? You have to start the entire game all over again. So yeah, you're gonna die. A lot. There is one way to get extra lives, and that's by collecting peppermints. Every 5 you find will give you a 1-up, but these are only found very rarely and never out in the open. You can find them in the air above the first screen before the marshmallows, the first screen after the cherry bombs, and the screen just when you reach the corn. You can try to use the trampoline to reach them, but you have to be very specific with your positioning, and a fall from the top of the second screen is fatal, so collect them at your own risk. If you ever need to position Blob in a specific location, you can turn him into a blowtorch, umbrella, or Vita Blaster and drop him exactly where you need him. I prefer the blowtorch because you never have to use the cinnamon jelly beans for any other purpose. When you reach the popcorn, take the time to pay attention to their pattern and get through them carefully. You can find 3 more peppermints just after the giant ear of corn, before the factory. Inside the factory, you can grind for extra lives by standing under the conveyor belt and shooting marshmallows with your Vita Blaster. This will cause the machine to start spitting out peppermints, which you can collect. But you won't be able to continue without shutting the machine off, which you can do by placing a trampoline on the right side of the second crack in the screen before, bouncing out to a candy cane in the next screen up, and hitting the switch. Repeat the same process for the second one. Alternatively, you can continue to shoot marshmallows until the machine runs out and lets you move on. You can find more peppermints in the sky just before the cave, as well as underground on the next screen and in the small alcove just above it. Navigate through the chomping teeth and drop a hole just in the center of the screen. This will drop you down to a switch where you can shut off an evil cauldron that makes Hershey's Kisses? Whatever. Trampoline out and continue to the right. There are more peppermints underground on either side of the chomping teeth. Don't bother exploring the alcove through the ceiling because after going through 2 rows of chomping teeth, the only thing you're rewarded with is a single peppermint. Fuck that. Finally, you reach the evil Blob King's lair, and this has to be one of the easiest final bosses in adventure game history. Turn Blobbert into a key by using the lime jelly beans. Key lime. And open the door. As soon as you enter, you'll find Blobbert in a cage and the boy blocked by a rock. All you have to do is feed Blobbert an apple jelly bean by getting a running start, and he will knock over the bottle of vitamins, defeating the Blob King. That's it. Now, if you've been paying attention, you'll probably already figured out what the fastest route would be. Start off like normal by heading into the subway, but instead of making a hole underneath the Absolute Avenue sign, make the hole to the far left of the area. As soon as you fall through, whistle so Blob will come with you, and when you die, you'll both spawn in the caves, bypassing pretty much the entire map. Continue up the caves as before, collecting 1 bag of jelly beans containing the key lime, and jack your way out of the manhole. Don't bother going to the vitamin store, just use the root beer rocket to go immediately to Blobalonia. Now, using the coconut jelly beans, turn Blob into, well, a coconut, and get a running start to throw him as far as possible. You'll have to not be moving when the coconut leaves the screen, otherwise the camera will stay on you. If you did it right, however, the camera will follow the coconut for about 10 screens, bypassing all the marshmallows and cherry bombs. When When the camera snaps back to the boy, these enemies will have disappeared, allowing you to run through the entire level unopposed. You can keep doing this over and over, eliminating the threat of the popcorn, marshmallow machines, and teeth. From this point on, play through the game just as you would normally, turning off the cauldron, using the key, and jacking the king to his death. Boy and His Blob is probably one of the most disappointing NES games I have ever played. After reading about it in my video game magazines, there was so much potential here with all of Blobbert's powers and the premise of using the alien shapeshifter to solve puzzles in the real world. But when you spend the majority of the game just running through caves and only using about a third of the Blob's potential skill set, the game just screams wasted opportunity. And now I'm depressed. You know what I need now? I need to blow some shit up.